Good evening, everyone. Joe Pelayo here, your friend in the recruiting business, bringing you 5 news stories in 5 minutes. Tonight we have Adora from Venezuela. We have vaccine updates, Warren Buffett, and a jelly roll on Joe Rogan. I guess today is the first day of the rest of your life, which is exciting. I'm glad you're here. Today was also the hardest day I've ever had researching the news because I didn't know what to make of the Venezuela story, And I watched the left-leaning news, the right-leaning news, the center news, and every side of the news. I went to every independent news journalist I could find and saw who they were interviewing. And so I've gathered some facts and figures and ideas and thoughts that might be helpful for you to understand what's going on in the news today. And that's kind of the purpose of this show. We do 5 stories in 5 minutes with an idea of keeping you, the executive or aspiring executive, up to date on what's going on, giving you news you can use and nothing that would give you the blues, such as murder or other stories like that. Train wrecks and car crashes and all the bad stuff that you get in the news usually, unless you're prayer warrior and praying for those people. Does that really help you to watch an hour of news with 12 stories and 9 of them are a murder or something just dreadful that happened, horrible? And I would put forward that's not good for your soul. So we're going to do the news a little differently. We try and keep it upbeat, but keep you informed on what's going on. So you have knowledge. It's so hard to get good news and real news. And we try and just give you the facts and let you make your own decisions. My opinions come in periodically, but I'm mostly wanting to give you the real news because I was spending a couple hours getting the news, and I figured I could distill it and might as well try and share it along with my 40 years of recruiting, give you an intelligent executive perspective that might be helpful for you in your career or in your business or just keeping up on what's going on in business and in the world today. And also, speaking of your career, if you are or someone that's looking for a new career, I got a good source for you, which is the wonderful recruiting company that I work for, which is josephmichaels.com. And if you go there, you're going to see some amazing jobs. For example, I know there's what they call a plum job for a controller in Dallas, Texas. There's also a couple of financial analyst jobs in Philadelphia and a nonprofit controller in the Bay Area. And it doesn't have to be finance. Let me just read you. I'll read you. There's 1,200 jobs on our website. So I'll just read you a few of them just so you get a feel. There's an associate attorney, insurance defense in San Antonio. There is a materials manager, Gallipolis, Ohio, wherever that is, materials manager, oversee all aspects of material planning, procurement, inventory for this logistics manufacturer, etc. There's a production control manager in Columbus, Ohio, a process engineer, nonwovens in the West Columbia, South Carolina market, and there's a Swiss CNC applications engineer in Minneapolis, and a senior design engineer in Bingham, New York. So that's just a few. There's 1,200 jobs there that you can search by keyword or title and apply for jobs. And if you want to work with us because you're hiring, you can click on the clients tab and you can copy and paste your job description and get us to give you a call, or you can just, pick up the phone. I'm an old-fashioned recruiter. I like it when the phone rings. If you're hiring, if you're looking for a job, the best bet is to apply there online. So anyway, that answers a lot of the frequently asked questions. If you have a question beyond that, you can email me at joe@josephmichaels.com. So let's get into the 5 stories, and we shall begin.
So tonight we're doing the top five stories. And folks, I have to tell you, there's never been anything like it.
You're watching the Top 5 News.
So many people say you're the smartest person in the world. Well, yes, I watched the Top 5 news show.
Joe Pelayo here. Welcome to the Top 5 News Show, delivering 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's dive into the action. The U.S. captures Maduro and Venezuela strike, seeking oil riches and to knock down drug cartels. Donald Trump announced that the U.S. had successfully captured Maduro in a midnight raid, 1 a.m. in the morning. They went in with the army, also, with the special forces and with the legal um, law enforcement, seizing Maduro in the middle of the night and bringing him back to Florida, the leader of Venezuela, capturing Nicolas Maduro and his wife, and they've been flown to the United States. Details are coming out. There's a press conference that Donald Trump ran at Mar-a-Lago, 11 a.m. the next morning. Venezuela, okay, the stats for Venezuela, I want to give you these. So Venezuela is in pretty dire straits. So 80% of Venezuela lives currently at, the population lives at a poverty level. And 8 million of the population, or about 25% of the population, has left the country since 2014. Venezuela has 300 billion barrels of crude oil reserves that are now under U.S. control at current prices. That's around 57 per barrel, and that's worth 17 trillion, more than the GDP of all the countries in the world except for the U.S. and China, and 4 times the Japan GDP. For years, leaders like Hugo Chavez nationalized billions in assets, essentially stealing them and making them the richest in the nation, and fortunes stashed in Swiss bank accounts. Hyperinflation wiped out savings and pensions for people. And this is what happens in a communist and socialist regime. It's a totalitarian theft, addressing claims that Venezuela isn't a big player in drugs like fentanyl, which comes from elsewhere. Fentanyl isn't the only threat, and some of it flows from Venezuela, as well as cocaine and other exploits. Main export from there. So cutting the revenue from those also cuts the drug cartels. And just if you think about it, if you're in a country and you got 50 million cocaine to ship somewhere, maybe you think twice about shipping it to the United States. I don't know. Apparently, the bombings of the cocaine smugglers' ships coming out of Venezuela was a warning, and the special forces were able to go in and capture Maduro with no injuries and no equipment left behind or anything. Mexico remains a focus for fentanyl, which is why Trump shut the border day one. As far as oil goes, Venezuela expropriated American assets, using them to fund the narcoterrorism. And, well, we're supposed to let the communists, steal our property in our own hemisphere. Great powers don't do that. So Trump, under his leadership, has taken power and taken control. JD Vance put it that this restores strength. That's what I know about the Venezuela situation. You can be for or against, and I reserve the right to change my opinion. This is literally the story that I spent the most time studying. I won't keep it to 5 minutes, but I watched all that I could to get up to date for you, to share with you something worthwhile. And so if somebody says it's just the gold, or it's just the drugs, or it's just the exercising power so we can show other countries that we mean what we say, if it's just because there was illegal charges against Maduro, People will say it's a lot of different things, but I think it's a major combination of different things, and also the power accumulation in the region. Uh, and a lot to look at. Pretty rare for our country. We haven't disposed dictators very often. And the times that we have, it hasn't really gotten that great for us. So we'll see how this plays out. But that's bringing you up to speed on story one. Story two, a massive win for American families with vaccine schedules slashed. Trump administration announced that the Department of Health and Human Services has reduced the childhood vaccine schedule from 72 to just 11. And the reason I say that's a massive victory is because if you want the 72 shots, you can still get them for your kid. It's just you have more choices now. So that's a victory for freedom of caring for your own babies. Parents concerned about over-vaccination, could shape the public health policy. Story three today, end of an era. Warren Buffett retires from Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett was officially retired Berkshire Hathaway on December 31st after 60 years at the helm of Berkshire Hathaway, transform a failing textile company into a conglomerate powerhouse. When Buffett took control in 1965, Class A shares traded at $19. Today, they're worth about $748,000 per share. Overall gain of $3,900,000 and a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, from 65 to 2024 was 19.9%, nearly double the S&P's 500, 10% return in the same time. Buffett remains chairman and plans to stay involved, but Greg Abel takes over. A legend takes a bow. Good job, Warren Buffett. Story four, tech shakeup. Meta's big buy. In a landmark deal, Meta acquired Manus for over $2 billion, one of the first U.S. tech takeovers of a startup of Chinese roots, signaling a shift in global AI innovation. Singapore-based company founded by Chinese entrepreneurs specialized in general purpose AI agents. Story five, inspiration from Jelly Roll's transformation. Country rap artist Jelly Roll, born Jason DeFord, has transformed his health by, get this, losing 275 pounds, dropping from 540 to 265. He credits his therapy for tackling food addiction, health coach Gary Brecka, and the Ways to Well team for a data-driven plan, and a chef nutritionist Ian Larios for tour-friendly meals. On the Joe Rogan podcast, he said at his heaviest, he felt death knocking on the door, and adopted a mindset and good habits. And good job, Jelly Roll. That is no small feat for any of us who've lost some weight over time. Looking good. Well, that's your top five news, fast and furious. I'm Joe Pelayo, and now for an encouraging word. Speak up for the people who have no voice, for the rights of all the downtrodden. Speak out for justice. Stand up for the poor and for the destitute. Catch you tomorrow. Stay informed. Keep the pace. I'm Joe Pelayo. Good night, everyone.